Welcome to the Infinite Life with Katische Haberfield. I'd like to take you on a transformative journey, exploring the mysteries of the soul. I hope you enjoy the regression case studies, mediumship interviews, and fascinating discussions that I've had with guests on the podcast. I hope that these answer some of the questions that you might have about life on this planet, on others, and in other dimensions. Thank you for joining me, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. And, most importantly, share with your friends. Namaste. Welcome back to the Infinite Life with Katische Haberfield podcast. I'm your host, Katische Haberfield, and you're in season 13, where we've been taking a break from case studies, and we have been talking with some of the most fascinating and interesting people that I have found on the internet today. And this week, our guest is Bill Heinrich. Bill is somebody who I'm going to call the divine timing guy, even though he has divine purpose guy, because we had already scheduled this meeting, this interview on Zoom for the podcast, and life actually chose not the date that we had scheduled, but chose today. So I'm going to say that even though he's known as the divine purpose guy, there's some kind of divine timing in our automatic rescheduling for today. So let's explore with Bill his profile and how his experience and his knowledge of the energetic path of success had led him to be known as the divine purpose guy. So your profile first, Bill. Success isn't always what it seems from the outside. I speak from experience. I found success at a very young age. I was living in one of the most beautiful places on earth, and from the outside, everything looks perfect, but something was always missing. Surrounded by material success, with everything in place by normal standards, I found myself dissatisfied, and nothing seemed to fill the emptiness inside. No matter how much money I made or how successful I was, I never felt whole. Painfully aware that something was lacking, I continued to try to fill the empty space I felt inside. Over the course of time, this feeling got worse, never better, no matter what I did. I remember it was almost 30 years ago that I was so miserable I walked out the door to change my life, and I never looked back. Since that time, I've experienced many ups and downs along my path of personal growth. At each stage, I've gained new perspectives, and those perspectives in turn created more opportunities for growth. More realizations, which has allowed me to see and understand the world with more insight and wisdom. Now I'm going to skip the next paragraphs and say, if you're listening to this, then we, both Bill and I, know that you're seeking answers and a way to end your frustration, confusion, stress, and overwhelm. This is how we are one and the same, and that's what we're going to explore on the podcast today. So formally, welcome to the podcast, Bill.
Thank you very much, Katische. So happy to be here.
Now, where should we start with divine purpose, divine timing, and the energetic path?
Any question you want to ask, wherever you'd like to begin.
Okay. So if there are people that are listening to this podcast and they're saying, Bill, I'm a bit like you, but in the reverse. So I'll flip the question.
Yeah.
I have all the spiritual knowledge that I wanted to gain, or I think I do. I have a spiritual business. Maybe I'm a healer. Maybe I'm a spiritual podcaster. And I have shunned the things that you look for in the material world. But on my spiritual path, I still feel something's missing because I'm resentful of the trappings of the material path that I have not gained in this lifetime. Mm-hmm. Where do we start to unpack that for somebody who's on the opposite path to your life?
No one's ever asked me this question. This is really fascinating, but I talk about it all the time. And first of all, your abundance is a direct reflection of the degree to which you're living in your life purpose.
Mm-hmm.
If abundance isn't there, if the value isn't there, then you're energetically out of line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what I find is I've never found anyone who understands what their purpose really is. I have the ability to do a meditation and to give a person their exact energetic DNA. And the thing Yeah, and right, spot on. There's 7, and it's the energies that flow through the chakras. It starts with the root chakra, goes to the crown chakra, and it begins with the energy of divine compassion, then divine creation, divine order, divine healing, divine authentic self-expression, divine truth, and divine power. And we all have all 7 of those energies, but we have them in different proportions.
Okay.
No two people are the same. This is our uniqueness. And so anyone listening to this, you are not who in the mirror.
Okay.
You are what you breathe. We are human beings. We are not human doings.
Mm-hmm.
It's only about who you're being, not what you're thinking, not what you believe. That really matters because it's going to block you from who you're being.
Mm-hmm.
And the code, these energies, here's what happens is people are born, and like I struggled my whole life because of the wisdom I have. Life never made sense to me. And I've been around a while, okay? And when I was young, there weren't even televisions. I remember when there were no televisions, okay? And I looked at life at what everybody was doing and what they were telling me, none of it made sense to me. Like I knew inside, no, this isn't right. You don't need to work. No, none of this is right, what you're doing. So it was very difficult for me. What I've learned is we all have life lessons. There's 38 different life lesson paths. So when we're born, we are seeing life through a perception where we're wearing a blindfold.
Mm-hmm.
And we're making decisions based on who we aren't.
No.
That's how we see life. This whole void. And that void of life lessons is just, there's so multi-layered and there's billions of different things that could be affecting it. But they're all energies. Okay. The lessons aren't circumstances, they're energetic lessons.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So people go through life and they see life that way. And then you're taught to survive and live in the physical. Okay. And everything about your purpose is non-physical.
Mm-hmm.
All about who you're being, not what you're doing.
Okay. Yep.
And there's a language that goes with it. And when we talk about this language, and I'm going to give you some examples of words that you can't define. Okay. Yeah, I guarantee you can't define them. Okay. We'll just start with love.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot define love.
No.
It's what manifests because of who you're being. It's an energy that you bring to a situation.
Mm-hmm.
Most people associate it, though, with the physical. Anything to do with your physical life is going to take you to suffering. Guaranteed.
Okay.
Guaranteed. Physical life is about lack of clarity, hard work, and suffering, and it'll never be any better than that.
Okay.
Anything that's significant, that's fulfilling and purposeful is energetic.
Mm-hmm.
Completely energetic, and will have a profound effect on the physical, but it's all because of who you're being. So what I found is because of these lessons, because of these perceptions, people they keep walking into the same wall with these lessons because they just aren't aware that they've got them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really focused on, oh, I do this and I help people. That doesn't matter. It's like, who are you being? Like, I'm here coming from a place of love to be of service for the benefit of everyone involved, regardless of the outcome is irrelevant. The outcome is not my business. The outcome is handled by the universe. I'm just going to be here from a place of love. So this is what people really need to understand is if you want to be successful, you have to understand the energetic side of it. I'll give you a good example. I have a client that's a financial analyst there, sells financial services. We were talking Friday, he had a client that called him that was going to change and make some changes in his whole thing and go work with another guy. That's the bottom line. But what he told my client was that my client had been deceitful to him. It's like, oh, okay. And my client was like, yeah, if I could have reached through the phone and got him by the neck, because I'm not this, I can lose my license. This is not, it would never happen with my client. And I just stopped him. I said, stop. Don't let the victim energy run this deal.
Mm-hmm.
You need to bring the loving energy into this. Just clean it up. Regardless of what he's doing, regardless of what he's saying, you need to control the transaction. So the first place to look for anybody if they're struggling is defensiveness.
Mm-hmm.
That's the very first place to look. And the reason I say that is because when you're defensive, you're protecting a story or belief inside you that needs no protection.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Love needs no protection.
Mm.
With love, the more you give, the more you get. That's the way love works. Like attracts like.
Mm-hmm.
There's only two emotions. One is in our physical life and one is in our non-physical. Do you want to guess what they are? There's only two. That's it. Everybody complicates life. There's only two emotions.
Okay.
What do you think?
So love is the non-physical, and lack or hatred or the opposite or whatever.
Fear.
Fear.
It's love and fear.
Fear. Oh, yeah, sorry. Of course. Yeah, love and fear. Yeah.
That's at the basis of everything.
Yeah.
And fear can only be found in your physical life. And fear can only be found in your past. You have to go to the past to create fear, or this thing that people call the future, but there's no such thing, because the future is just your past thrown out in front of you. So it's all your past. It's all your past. It's all your point of reference. If you're in fear, it's in the physical. And the basic fear that everybody has is fear of loss, because there's innate understanding that we're going to die and nobody wants to die.
Yep.
And we're afraid that other people are going to die. So fear of loss is in the physical. In the non-physical, it's just love.
Yeah.
Just love. So when you have stories inside you because you've been in survival and protecting yourself your whole life, this is what's creating all of your problems. This is what's creating your lack of trust. This is what's creating your suffering. There is no story that needs protection, not when you're in a place of love, because it's okay to be you, because you're different. And I recognize that. So I want to know you for who you are energetically, wherever you are on your path.
Mm.
I'm not here to change you. I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. Okay. Anybody just take what they want, throw away the rest. I don't care what you do. It's your life. You get to choose whatever you want. But that's the crux of creating energetic success, and it is in fact all about timing. Our purpose, our dharma is all about timing, and our dharma is a very fine line, but our dharma is only going to be understood energetically, never in the physical. Mm-hmm. We aren't physical beings. We're energetic beings. We die. What in the mirror is staying here.
Yeah.
The energy's leaving. So the number one place to look is defensiveness, because you're protecting something, you're afraid to lose something, and there's a story inside you that's creating that. And we're free to change anything we want. We can make anything up we want. And the universe must deliver it to us. We're the only ones that can say no. We say no, N-O. The universe says no, K-N-O-W. and it wants to know you, and the universe wants to know your vibration. It doesn't want to hear your story.
Okay.
Just how you're vibrating.
And so for people who are, like I said, the opposite to who started in the spiritual path, like they feel like they were the black sheep and they started out differently, who may be living in that emotion of fear in the physical, and they've tried to use the energetic side. Is it in this blueprint that you mentioned earlier on, so I'm going to get it wrong, that 38?
The life lessons.
Yeah, is it in that you find that you would shift somebody who's experiencing this?
No, it's awareness. What I do is people come and work with me, and what I do is I help them create awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell my clients, all the clients, the same thing. I don't care about I could care less about your results. I don't care what happens to you. It doesn't matter to me. Okay. Because I can't choose for you.
Yep.
I will guide you. And when you come back next week, we're going to talk about what's going on, what you've learned, how you're stepping into your power if you are, or what we're seeing. Okay. But they're just so accustomed and so fixated on the physical part of life. And that's only going to bring you suffering. Period. End of conversation. It's the best it can give you. When I ask you about anything special, Katische, in your life, like what's a special moment, you're immediately going to go to how you felt. It's the vibration that counts. And that's the way the universe runs. That's how you communicate with the universe. That's how you create abundance. That's how you manifest things. Everything is done with vibration. That's also how you demonstrate to the universe that you have the responsibility. You're spiritually responsible enough to handle all the wonderful things that you'd like to create in your life. You can talk it all you want. Talk is cheap. Okay. Like people, you don't sit down with me and start telling stories because they go right out the window. I want to know how you felt behind the story.
Okay.
I want to know the real stuff. And the truth of the matter is there's only one thing in life that's real. And that's how you feel. Nothing else is real. It's all made up. It's all just your perception based on your past experience, and everybody sees it differently. Which is cool. Unless you're stuck in the physical and you're trying to fit in, it's just not possible.
Yeah. And so for you, because you seem a bit more like me in that, so I started off as a management consultant and a university lecturer in marketing. And so I've grown up with you develop a strategy, you put goals, and you go for results. And that's what you do with everything. You expect an exchange for effort put in. And so when you say to people who know, of course, I should detach from the outcome, I should let the universe handle it, I understand that the feeling is the way that I'm supposed to change that. How did you go from having a results-orientated focus, brought up mainstream, I'm assuming, business background, correct me if I'm wrong, but to going, all right, so I put in all of that effort, I did everything that I said that I wanted to achieve, and I achieved it, and I still feel shit.
Yeah. How did it work out? How did it work out for you?
Yeah, how did you get that awareness and then alchemize it in such a way that it created this?
Because when you do that, what you're talking about, okay, what you do is you lead a life of control and manipulation.
Yep. Okay. I can see it.
Everything's based on your expectation and the goal you're after. And I'm glad you're seated because you cheated yourself tremendously. Because if you learn to create an intention, what you want to create isn't a problem. Okay. If you want a big brand new house overlooking the ocean, like that's cool, but we're just going to talk about the energy of living there, of who you're going to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
When we understand, when you get the vibration of who you're going to be in it, you will bring that house to you and you'll have a deep appreciation and you won't care what it looks like because it will feel right.
Okay. Yep. Gotcha.
And when it feels right, it's right. And that's the end of the game. That's the beginning and the end, all summed up, boom, plain and simple. So it's all based around the energy. That's why visualizations are so powerful. But you don't want to visualize an expectation because when you visualize an expectation, you're putting yourself in an extreme state of limitation.
Okay.
It's, oh no, I want this. It's, gosh, the universe wants to give you this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's much more exciting to collaborate with the universe and see what shows up. Because when you work with energy, when you can detach, you don't detach from how it's going to feel. You can smell the ocean. You're up high. You've got a view. It seems like you're on a cliff of a bluff or something. You can just, it's there and it just, the breeze and you're just really into the feeling of it. When you have those things, that's what will help it materialize. And that's how you create miracles.
Mm-hmm.
And a miracle is just an unexpected event with a positive outcome. That's all it is.
Okay, I like that definition. Unexpected event with a positive outcome.
Something just pops in. And I can tell you some stories about miracles for myself and my clients that are just amazing.
Please do.
They're amazing. I have one client who's with me. The other part of this is when people work with me and they start learning who they are, we go through a process of where they gain awareness. And once they gain awareness, and then we work on integration, and then we go right to transcension. And in transcension, we're just in expansion. We're just working on expansion. So clients, they just have a tendency to stay with me a long time because we're expanding like crazy. And right now I've got 4 clients who've been with me. The one-on-one clients have been with me 7 years, right? And it's very long in the coaching industry. I have no contracts and I don't have any of that. You don't need it. You got connection, right? Because I'm not working from fear, right?
Yeah.
But like this one client, very successful, 3 young daughters, married, nice home. And he starts working with me. He said, yeah, I'm like, so what are you, Ryan? What are you going to be creating? He said, we really don't like our house. We love our lot, but we don't like our house. I'm like, oh, okay. What are you going to do? He said, I got to take care of this and I can't do anything with it right now because I've got this and that, blah, 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 blah. Okay. He said, you know, what's funny though is we were thinking, first I said to him, I want you to do me a favor. Okay. Your thinking right now is eliminating just a possibility. Will you play with a possibility? Is there a possibility that something could happen? Like you don't have to do anything. Let's just go with a possibility. Like why block it?
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about creating it, but let's just allow the possibility to be there. Oh, yeah, I get that. I can do that. You know, and it's like when you do the house, what do you want it to look like? What's this possibility we're talking about? He said, well, I'll be honest with you. Across the street, our neighbor's house, they had 3 daughters. Their daughters are all grown. It's just the parents are now. It's an empty nester. Something like that would be perfect. I said, okay. He said, in fact, if we traded with them, it'd be really cool kind of thing. Okay. So we're talking. We create the possibility. We're talking. He comes back 2 weeks later. He says, okay, this is nuts. My wife was out walking the dog. The neighbor wife was out there walking. And the neighbor's wife said to my wife, we should talk about trading houses.
Okay. Yeah.
I was blue. I said, and he just laughed. I said, oh, gee, possibilities. What do you think now? He's like, okay, I'm starting to believe. I said, you're going to look at it? We're looking at it this weekend. So they went and looked at it. What'd you think of it? He said, we hated it. I said, perfect, perfect. But you see how misleading we are with our limitations. However, that came to fruition like that. Now, within 6 months, their house was torn down and they moved, they rented a place, and they're building a brand new home. It'll be finished, in fact, in a couple of months. It all just happened out because he allowed the possibility. And like when I talked to him last week, he's still in my program. Yeah. He said, I'll be honest, I'm freaking out about it. This is a big house, and but look at what it's worth. Hey, don't worry about it. If you can't pay for it, you can sell it. You make a ton of money. You got a lot of possibilities. Let's just enjoy it. Let's just see what happens. And this all came about just because of the possibility. And what happens is, in the physical, we eliminate any possibilities. There's a 3-letter word that ends everything. And that word is how. It kills everything.
And we've been trained that way, right?
What's that?
We've been trained to go, how?
And you don't need to know how, right? I'm going through a massive expansion with my coaching business. Like, I'm pushing this to the hilt, right? Like, I'm getting very loud, and I'm creating, going international in speaking and a variety of really big, right? That is what I'm in the process of creating right now energetically. I have no idea how. Okay. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. It's just the energy's there. I'm demonstrating the responsibility, and we'll see what the universe drops off. Like, it's going to be cool, whatever it is. And there's things you have to do, but it's a matter of it isn't work, it's steps to clarity. If you can sit still and listen to where the universe and energy is guiding you, I always say, follow the energy, follow the energy. But if somebody's mad and upset about stuff or resentful or whatever, the energy's just blocking it. Just because they've got those stories inside them and they're just so wrapped into physical life.
Yeah.
It's really sad to see. I've never met anybody that understands their purpose. I've been doing this 15 years working with people. Never met anybody. I met a number of people whose energy is close to it, but they don't understand it. It's just kind of who they are. They just fell into it. And when they understand it, and I literally, with the way I work, this creates a bit of a problem. I can change anybody's life in 60 minutes. Without guaranteed, because the information is so profound and so true. It's just so impactful. When I say there's only two emotions, be with that. Gosh, this is correct. Where are you hanging out? If you hang out over here, great things are going to happen. If you're over on this side, you're going to suffer. Now, I'm not examining your life. Take that and go examine your life. You'll come back and go, oh, he was right. It's just the way it is. Energy and vibration has no story. There's no story with it. It's just a vibration. It's pure truth. Anger is anger. Anger is a vibration of itself. All of these things are vibration of their own, and they're all either stemmed from fear or love. So you get to choose which ones you want to participate in.
Yeah. And so for you, you said that you do this meditation that helps bring through that purpose. How did you get to experiencing that for yourself?
It was so trippy. I went to many years ago. Gosh, how long ago was it? I'm not even sure. I went to a good friend of mine's seminar on soul reclamation, Andrea Hess. And at the beginning of it, she started talking about our divine purpose and divine energies. and had this little piece about it, and then went on. It was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This was Friday night in a 2-hour session, and then Saturday, all day Sunday went on. She went on to all these other things, and she didn't spend 30 minutes on this. But the moment she spoke about it, I understood it thoroughly. In fact, I was in a relationship at the time, and the next morning we're driving back and I'm talking about it. And Cindy looked at me. She said, "What the hell are you talking about?" I said, "Well, it means da, 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 da." And she was like, "Nothing's been said about that." I just knew it, just like, boom, my calling. And so I then took the information and started playing with it with people and changed their life like that, but it wouldn't stick, right? It'd be like, they'd go, "Wow, that's really fascinating." Okay. And then energetically, I can take somebody and just change the energy. Or just by doing that, it's what happens is pretty wild. But if it doesn't stick, I'm not going to be a psychic reader. Like, I'm going to do something I want to change somebody's life profoundly, where they have complete control over their life, not something where I'm giving them exercises and things to do.
Yeah.
I want to work, I want to collaborate with your soul on why you're here, and you can feel that. And when you feel it, you know it. Like, I just say, "Here's what I get." Now, the funny part about it is we have these 7 energies. 3 of them are very predominant. It'll make up 75% of your purpose. And each of those energies, when they're not understood, create penalties. So everybody's dealing with penalties with these energies because they don't understand them, because they've been focused in the physical and they aren't using the energies for which they're intended. It's like getting a lot of rain. If you channel it and store it and put it behind a dam and create electricity, you do a lot of things. But if you're not, it comes down, it's just going to destroy everything. And that literally is what happens with this energy. So when I go through it with people, I give them all the negatives. And they go, "Wow, that's me." And your purpose is to do the opposite energetically.
Yep, I get that. Yep.
But it terrifies you because you've used, like, one of the energies, and everybody has this, is called divine order. Okay. Divine order is about harmony, balance, functionality, beauty, just everything just moves very well put together, functions very well. It's just orderly. And like, I know a woman that does taxes that I work with that has this, and people sit in front of her and melt because they feel safe, because she's so orderly and harmonious in the way she does things. And people are, "Oh, yeah, whatever, the IRS or whatever, we know it's going to be fine with you." They feel it.
Mm-hmm.
However, people that have a lot of this gift run into massive problems if somebody's upset with them or there's any confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they think it's them logically, but it isn't. The energy breaks them up. The energy is what disturbs them, because they're so harmonious in the way they breathe and do anything. So if somebody's not happy with them, they'll do whatever they need to do to keep somebody happy, because I call it the Humpty Dumpty syndrome. Man, they fell off the wall. The egg is cracked. But they think it's just, "Oh, this isn't right. I haven't done good." Right. So this energy is actually causing them to act very dysfunctionally, rather than stepping towards the person that has an issue and using the positive, calming, harmonious energy. And if they will step in with that power, everything's smoothed out instantly. Mm-hmm. Because you can't block energy. You can block what a person's saying, but you can't block their energy.
Okay. Yep.
You can see the separation there. So when you bring this harmonious energy into a situation, it just changes everything instantly. And there's 7 different ones, and then on top of that, you got the life lessons to understand. So there's a lot going on, but when people understand it, they do it. They go, okay, this is crazy. Like, I did this and here's what happened. I said, yeah, that's what happens. Right? Because that's energy.
And with the people, for example, that you've worked with, say, the people you've worked with for 7 years, and you had that, they did that initial analysis with you where you did all your meditations and you worked out the energy and the life's purpose and the things that they need to be energetically opposite of. And they've changed their lives, they've transformed their lives. Have you ever found, and again, I know this is going to sound like the opposite of what I mean, but there is a kind of a belief out there that we get so far and we achieve certain things, and it's like your life purpose can change after that. Do you believe that any of your clients have changed their life purpose after a period of time of working with you, or do
what you're actually talking about is expansion?
Right. Okay.
And that's where you see the change.
Okay.
And what expansion is that you have a higher level of awareness and you're less affected by your stories.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, your life continues to change and move into higher levels.
Yep. Okay.
And you feel more comfortable. So from the external, it could appear that way, but it's only expansion.
Yep. Okay. Good.
Because nobody's perfect, right?
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. But I know, and again, the only thing in life that's true is how you feel. And that's that's your radar system. There's something not right here. Now, there's some key ingredients in this, and one of them is accountability and responsibility. So you have to pick one of those. Which one do you want to pick to live by?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and pick one.
Oh, I think the first thing that came to my brain was accountability, and then I went, "Oh, should I pick responsibility?" But it's accountability was the truth for the first word.
So you're a victim.
Yeah.
You're accountable. If you're accountable, you're reporting to somebody else. Who are you accountable to? I'm responsible.
Yeah.
I don't care what you think about me. I'm going to collaborate with you. I'm going to make a commitment with you. I'm going to be responsible to that commitment, but I have no accountability whatsoever.
Yeah. I see
I'm
that.
100% responsible. Do you see the difference in the energy there?
Yeah, and I see that because throughout this conversation, when you said you don't do any contracts and you don't care upon the outcome, there's that part of me that just went, how do you be like that? You know what I mean? Because of where I've come from.
Yeah.
I've always come from the process of you have to be accountable for your actions, for your thoughts, for your clients' outcomes, for everything. And then you're sitting here on the opposite side of the counter and saying to me,
hell no.
You don't have to be accountable. So I'll admit that's a foreign concept to me, because in my mind, and this is how I'm seeing the energy is wrong for me, it's like, how can you be a good ethical person if you don't care upon the outcome? Do you know what I mean? You can see my flaw there, my victim.
Because I know something that most people don't know, and I give a keynote speech, and the name of that speech is that my life is out of control. And yours is too.
Okay.
You have no control over your life. So you must be focused only on the energy and what you're doing in the moment. And if that's good, everything's good.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely say that I try to control things. Yeah. Control
There
my
you go.
output. Yeah, control my
So
output.
what is
Control
it? What is it you're afraid of?
I guess the immediate words that I got was losing control. Yeah, losing
You
control. Yeah.
you've already lost control. You don't
Mm.
know when you're going to die. And there's a joke. You want to make God laugh? Tell him what your plans are.
Yeah.
You have no control,
Yeah.
right? But you know, when you understand energy, energy plays by a vibration plays by different rules. And
Mm.
the rules are so clear. I've written a book. It's coming out very shortly called Clarity Has No Story. I piss a lot of people off because I'm so clear. Like
Yeah.
they want the story.
Yeah.
Somebody say, "Hey, do you want to do this?" It's, oh, I really appreciate the invite, but that doesn't fit in for my schedule, what I'm doing right now. But thank you. No, you want to hear it? I said, no, I don't need to hear it. Like it doesn't matter if it's baseball, cricket. I don't care what it is. I'm good where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
You're not good that I'm good because you want me to be in your agenda, but I'm not going there. It doesn't fit right now.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I don't care what you think about it. You can say whatever you want, do whatever. A lot of people leave me pointing their fingers at me, saying I'm the one that did whatever because they don't like the dance I'm in. But my dance is clear. My dance is clarity and love. And it's so clear. It's so simple. And it's just so easy. It's really to some it took a while because it made life boring for a while.
Okay.
If I'm not spending all that time trying to control everything, I got a lot more free time.
Yeah. And I guess also, Bill, where my interest in this comes from is also, so my training is in clinical hypnotherapy. And so one of the things that, and past life regression therapy and spirit releasement therapy. And so one of the things we are trying to do is to find the story and find the emotion to heal. But that does say to the mind, what is the story? And so what you're saying is essentially the story doesn't matter. You've just got to find the energy. And I guess that's where the training that I've done so far is very much in line with my mainstream training as well. If I can analyze my own self. And again, here we go, analyzing. I'm an expert at the mind and analyzing, whereas energy is just purely
oh my God.
energy.
Stay away from the mind. Yeah. The mind, stay away from your mind is not your friend. We are so ignorant. It's hilarious. People are just so stupid. We all are. And if you'll put the boundaries down of your protection and have an open mind, you can create phenomenal awareness in life. It's amazing just how, I don't know what percentage, I think it's in the upper 90 percentile of everyone on earth is focused on getting to death safely. And that's it. They aren't living. It's all about protecting themselves to die. And there's no living in between. And that's the truth. And they're living with a blindfold on, making a decision based on who they are. So when you look at the vibration, you get to the core of it. And there's modalities that people work with. So you've got great modalities, which are a great front in the public eye of the work that you do, right? Hey, I call myself a business coach, right? I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing. And then I just come in and the first thing I have to do is make sure someone has the capacity to work with me. This isn't for everybody. This is the real deal. This is the real deal. I give a 100% guarantee you will be living your life purpose and you'll be doing it very fast. So it's 100% money back guarantee. And no one's ever asked for their money back in 15 years. Because once you understand who you are energetically, then you can make changes in your life. The stories create energy. You just have to look for the energy and that'll take you to the story. And you don't even have to go to the story, really, because once you understand energy, you can go, I don't like feeling that way. I'm going to make a different choice. And the minute you make that different choice to stop controlling because you feel better, and as you see it, you keep doing it, you start seeing space opening up, and you'll see the stories start popping up where at the county fairs, they have the whack-a-moles where you have a hammer and the mole comes up. That's what these stories do, is they come up. But if you see the energy, this energy doesn't support me. This doesn't support my soul. This isn't an energy of love. This is an energy of fear. What the hell's going on? And the problem is people don't have a path. They go, oh, this is woo, and that whole thing. But hey, your breath is woo. Your religion is, you go to church and you talk about heaven and all this other stuff. That's all in the non-physical. Let's be real. And the greatest example, all expansion, everything, the universe is in a constant state of expansion. Like attracts like. It's just constant state of expansion. And like the greatest example of that is the telephone. If you go back 40 years when the phone was attached to the wall, and now it's gone to where I've got a computer in my back pocket. I push a button. You and I are on Zoom talking to each other in seconds. Well, wait, there's no line. There's nothing physical about this except we're together physically and energetically. But the connection is all a vibration through satellite. A vibration goes up, and there it is. There's a classic example of how the universe works, and you can participate in that if you want in life. And what it means is we are pure potential. In fact, I've just finished a new course. I'm introducing this kind of the cornerstone of my expansion, and it's called the Peak Potential Blueprint. And I really like it. And the reason I like it is because I'm over on the other side of the fence. I'm over on the physical side. Potential is, people think potential's on the physical side when in fact it isn't, because they don't even know what the hell it is. Because potential is just energy. Potential manifested is your past.
Yep.
Because it's happened and it's behind you.
Yep.
It's untapped energy that you have converted and tapped into.
Yep.
So potential is just energetic. Your peak potential, believe it or not, is just another word for your life purpose. Because in order to tap into your peak potential, you need all the same attributes that I teach to live in your purpose. They go hand in hand.
Yeah. It's just really interesting because I have been resisting. So for the last 5 years, I have been doing, as I said, clinical hypnotherapy, past life regression therapy, spirit releasement therapy. And in the last 6 months, I've been doing a lot of energy work, which I've been learning to understand, which has been very difficult for me to let go of, which is channeling the archangels and learning how to work with them to just put myself aside and let that energy come through. And last week, they said to me, we are behind you, not in front of you anymore. And now we hand over to Mother Mary, but not Mother Mary, who she is beyond the avatar of Mother Mary. But you have to let go because you don't even know who she is yet. And you have to not be afraid of the energy. You have to step into the love. And for me,
it's not fear.
Yeah. Coming from the space of control, scripts, folders, diagrams, charts, I do this, I get these results. It's new for me. And yeah, so it's been really interesting for me to talk to you because yes, I can see myself. Yes, I can see myself. Yes, I understand the answer is energy. I've been working towards this. And I can see that they're like, here, this is the next thing for you. But I'm like, I can't define it.
You should go through my course. In fact, it's interesting because I got this hit just a little while ago that I might be doing work with high level coaches also to really show you how to own your power, right? Because look, you're being called to it, right? So you just have to surrender.
Yeah.
But it's like you can climb the mountain or there's an escalator on the other side, and that's called the peak potential blueprint. You know what I mean? I hate to be pimping myself, so to speak, but it's the truth is I studied this. I know this cold. And when I work with people, after 6 months with me, your whole business would change. You'd have more clients. They'd be flourishing greater. All the tools you have and the different programs and things that you offer are great. Okay. And they fit for people because they can help guide. Some people need that to just get through the first barrier, to get through a barrier. But ultimately, you're just going to go to energy. And what I found is when you know who you are energetically, Katie, bar the door. Like it's game over. It's just game over because it's just, that's me. Hello. Yeah. It's you. It's you. That's it. And when I work with somebody, they get to decide that, not me. I do give them some specific information and the guidepost, but I work more on the integration. My expertise is in integration and how to maneuver and you got to learn how to put yourself in timeout. Okay. Like get out of the way. You're stopping it. You're blocking it with these different things. So it just makes it fun. But yeah, it's when you're there, obviously, hey, you're in expansion, you're in energy of expansion. So it's even more than divine timing that we've had this conversation. Because that's all there is that energy. See? And like if it was me, I'd be just, let's go, Mother Mary, bring it on.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful, the pleasure of it. And the one thing you spoke about is you have to understand that energy is you. It isn't Mother Mary. It's you and your ability to access a higher level of vibration. That is part of you. Like, I was so miserable, I walked away from my life over 30 years ago. And in my misery, I'm like, this whole thing with God. And, there were days it's like, God, how can you do this to me? And now I realize I am God. I have that. We all have that energy. We are all one. And the more we allow it, the more we can participate in it. And it's free and open to everyone. Everything I teach, the funny part about it is you already have it. You have everything.
Yeah.
You don't need to go get anything. I'm just going to show you how you misunderstand what you have. It's that misunderstanding, that need to control.
Yeah. And it's like this, but at one level, and then there's that part of you that goes, but I'm human.
Yeah, but
I have kids to feed. That's that I know energy. I know that's the path, but you like bleh. And it's the stopping the blur.
Well, but if you sit with it, you'll see it's just stories inside you. And start just looking at those stories and seeing how you can adjust them. Like you can hear how candid I am about this. It's like you said, it's shocking. And I tell clients that I have no problem with that. I could care less what you do, right? Because I can't do it for you.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I don't really know what you need. I know the parts you need, but I don't know which one.
Okay. Yep.
You've got to determine that.
Yep.
Your whole background. And I learned, it's like artificial intelligence. After we worked together for a while, I know more and more. Now I see it in play.
Yep.
And as I see it in play, then we can move with it and we can really clean it up and I can point things out and how to do it. Like, for instance, one of my clients, a big company, and they work in partnership actually with companies that raise money and also companies that do the big high-end seminars, personal transformation seminars. And my client bought another company. They bought a website and the whole thing didn't work out. A lot of money, and they were supposed to make a big payment on it the first of the year. And he said, we don't want to make the payment. I'm like, oh, that's okay. You don't need to make it. He's like, what do you mean? I said, you don't need to make it. It's just a choice. Why don't you want to make it? He explained. I said, yeah, that seems fair. So he said, what do I do? I said, let's just send him a note and let him know. And let him know how you want to handle it. We can do that? I said, of course. What are they going to do? They may not like it, but we'll let them know where you're at. They'll come back to us. So we did, and this has been going on. It's really funny. It's now, and he just said, no, we can't make it. We're going to postpone it for 6 months to a year. And the reason is because the online company they bought, they couldn't send out emails and get it going because the 100 and something thousand people on the email list had been dormant. And you can't just start firing out again. So they're building it up and they've had to change their trajectory, but it's tremendously affected the business. So he sent that to them and said, we're going to pay you interest and we'll pay you interest at 6%. And sent him a no and said, but we can't make the payment. So they were talking to the controller of the company that they bought it from, because these guys own a bunch of other companies that they bought it from. And the controller got back to him and said, you can't use our money for that percentage rate. We want this much percentage. And we talked about, my client said, yeah, that's good. I said, okay, good. Let them know that's okay. But they said, but you're just not going to make interest payments. We want a payment with it. He said, we don't want to make a payment, but let us know. So here came the deadline. He sent him an interest payment. So now the owner of the company has now gotten a hold of him and said, hey, we need to straighten this out. This isn't right. So we crafted a note, and my client just said, here's where we're at with it. They've been making the timely interest payments to them. So they've been in line with the debt. And they said, look, if you want it back, we'll give it back to you. We haven't heard back from him.
Okay.
We aren't fighting. We're detached. We're just completely detached. And here are these big guys, this multi-million-dollar company, and they don't know what the hell to do with it. We aren't there. We aren't throwing bombs at them. We're just saying, here's what happened, and here's the timing that's needed with it.
Yeah, so the energy is not a fight.
No, they're talking to somebody that's completely detached. In fact, my client's wife was like, what's going to happen with this? Nothing. Like, even my client was like, yeah, this is crazy. But we're just completely detached, coming from a place of love. We're just being honest. Another situation, I bought a house and I got owner financing on it. I got a house. I couldn't get a loan on it. And I asked the realtors, let's see if the owner would find, I don't know. I said, give me the owner's phone number. If they gave me the owner's phone number, I called him and, yeah, I'll carry it for you. I said, I'll give you this much down. Well, the realtors couldn't work it out, but I did, because I created the possibility.
Mm.
They couldn't even think of creating the possibility.
Mm.
They would have flubbed it anyways. It worked out perfectly. The owner was like, hell yeah, I'll do that. Supposed to pay him in 9 months. I got to 8.5 months and I didn't have the new loan. And I had to come in with a $300,000 payment. So I sit here going, oh, I'm starting to stress out. What am I going to do? I sat there. I said, literally just picked up the files regarding it and drove down to his office. I'd never met him. Went into his office. The secretary was there. She knew me because she got my check every month for the interest payment. Oh, yes. And I said, I don't even remember his name now. Yeah, he's here. So I went in and he'll see you. I went in. Hi, how are you? I said, hey, listen, I just need to speak to you. I can't make the payment. I haven't been able to get the loan. Now, I know this is a big deal for you, and I just wanted to come and do it with you face to face. You can do whatever you want because I respect the fact that I have this commitment to you. I have no story to give you. If you want to know some facts, I'll give them to you. But I'm not here singing a sad song. I'm just telling you the truth. He looked at me and he was like, I don't need the effing money. Just keep making the monthly payment. No contract extension. We didn't sign anything. We didn't do anything. Just keep making the payment. And a year later, I got the loan and paid him. Mm. Yeah. And these are the things that happen when you can be detached and you can just, you let go of the results. It's just the energy that you come in with. And people just, what you're doing, and I know that you know the world's a mirror, but what you're doing is you're presenting this new energetic view of themselves to them. Mm. And it's deeply touching. And this is how these miracles get created. Mm. These are they're the real deal. This is real. I could tell you many of those. In fact, my client, a young guy, just had a baby son, his first son, Friday. 25 years old, went and bought a house with absolutely no money. And he was just starting out in insurance. He's flat ass broke, right? And he put the deal together on this house. Like he wanted to buy it and talk to the people and he couldn't get the mortgage. He went back to him. He said, but I could make payments. I don't know if you want to do that. Here's my situation. If you want to do it, I'll pay you for sure. But let me know what you think. They called back 2 days later. Yeah, we want to sell it to you. We think you're a nice guy. He bought my house. But he came in and told me, I was like, he used everything that he learned from me.
Yeah.
He was completely detached from the outcome, but he created the possibility. Mm. He created and he was fine with the possibility. Whatever happened, he was fine with. So this is what we do all the time. Yeah. I mean, it's very, very real. It's about who you're being.
Yeah, and I can see that. They were great examples. I can see how to shift that into that possibility because, yeah, that made it much more tangible for me, that example. That was really good. Thank you.
Like us missing the first appointment, yeah. Right? I just said, hey, I messed up. I messed up. I got no problem with that. Do you still want to meet? It was my fault. Yeah. That's all. If you said no and you were upset, it'd be okay. I'm good with that. Yeah. Right? But you're like, oh, no, just reschedule and it'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It just diffuses everything. See,
yeah,
that's pure. Anything that comes in my life, I'm responsible for.
Yeah.
Anything. I want that responsibility because if I don't have it, guess what? Somebody outside of me has caused it, and that makes me a victim.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to play the victim role.
Yes.
In fact, I just want.
Sorry.
I was going to say, I just went through that with another client Friday where I don't know if I mentioned it in this conversation where one of his clients said he was deceitful. Yes. And he was all upset. Yeah, I think I did mention it. And I'm like, don't let the victim run the deal.
Yeah.
Detach from your feelings. Let's handle this quickly and professionally. And the guy's saying, oh, send me an email and then I'll answer the email and I want an answer to this. And And my clients, I'm not doing that. I said, good, send him back and say, no, you got to get on Zoom with me. Let me know when you have time.
Yeah.
Let's just send him a nice note. We'll take care of it.
Yep. Thank you so much for your time today. When did you say your next book is coming out?
I'm not sure. I've got to check with the company that's publishing it for me.
All
It
right.
should be any time. Clarity
Yeah.
Has No Story is the name of it. I have another book on Amazon right now, The 7 Levels of Truth, which actually goes through everything I do in my coaching business is in the 7 levels of truth. The 7 levels of truth are your chakras and the energies that run through them.
Yep. Perfect. All right. So I'll put all of that in the show notes as well as a link to your podcast. And I just really want to appreciate you and thank you for your time today. I've really enjoyed opening my mind to the possibilities.
Wonderful. It's been a great conversation. It's been so much fun. I really enjoyed.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. I hope your audience gets a lot out of it.
They will. Thank you.